Good afternoon, everyone. Waiting for the last couple of people to connect. Two more audios. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jamie Taylor. I'm the Director of Athletic Bands and the Director of the Marching Band here at Colorado State University. Welcome to our first webinar of the season, getting ready for the fall. And I know that all of you are here, I believe, to ask questions and get information about participating and joining the marching band this fall and what may be entailed about that. So again, welcome. I'm really happy to see all of you here. I thought I would start off with a few tidbits of information that I think would apply to everyone, and then open up the floor to questions. If you don't mind, if you do have a question, don't hesitate to do the little raise your hand sign, and our session moderator will bring you in the order that you have raised your hand. I'd like to introduce with me one of our graduate assistants today, Ben Pouncey. He should be one of the ones that you see, and he is one of our master's degrees in conducting students, former band director, and learning, just furthering his education here, and is one of the assistants and works with the marching band as well. So first off, I'll start off with get a little bit of information about the band. I'm sure, as you all know, we are a marching band, and we'll be getting ready again this fall. This is actually going to be my second year here at Colorado State. We're really excited about a lot of the new things that we are able to do this coming year, and some of the extra opportunities I think that we are going to have. Important things to remember right now is that every member of the marching band receives a $615 scholarship just for participating. There are additional scholarship opportunities in a couple of auditioned pep bands that happen. The first band actually auditions during band camp. That's called the Presidential Pep Band. Anybody that makes that group would make an extra $500 scholarship. That band performs for select volleyball games, actually, and then also certain command performances by our president's office, which is why it's called the Presidential Pep Band. So we'll do a few special pep rallies and performances scattered throughout the fall semester, and then, as I said, about 6 to 7 volleyball games as well to support our volleyball team. And then that group does their thing. And then the other thing that we have is our spring basketball band. We call it Rampage Basketball Band. And that is, again, an auditioned group. We auditioned for that group in October for the first basketball games, which begin in November. And everyone that is a participant in that band will receive a $20 scholarship per game that they play in basketball band. The basketball season usually has between 26 and 30 home games. That's between the men and the women combined. And we assign 2 different bands, and those bands get roughly 12 to 14 games each for the season, and again at $20 per game. And then members are allowed to substitute for other members that maybe can't make a particular game. I actually had one trombone player this year perform at all but one home game this year, and she almost had a perfect record. So she had about 26 or 27 games that she played at $20 a game. So it's one of those things where you can do as much or as little as you want to add to your scholarship. So just by participating in the marching band and those 2 pep bands, the possibilities are that you could earn up to $1,200, $1,300, maybe even $1,400 of extra scholarships, which is nice. And that would be above and beyond any other scholarships that the university is offering. And that is repeatable every year that you're in marching band. Important things to know, we do have auditions coming up very soon for color guard and drumline. I'm not sure if we have any of those people in attendance today, but our color guard auditions are Saturday, April 30th, with a option for video auditions due the Friday night before. And drumline auditions is Saturday, May 7th, again with a video audition opportunity due the night before on the 6th. All of that information is on our website, including the drumline audition booklet, which includes the music and all of the other things that the drummers need to know. And our color guard actually have a clinic this Saturday on the 9th that are teaching all the skills that would be used in the audition. It is not mandatory that anyone attend the clinic. It doesn't bear on their ability to make it into the guard, but it would be helpful, I think, for anybody coming out of high school, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and gives them a little extra information before the audition day. The color guard auditions will begin with teaching the skills again that are needed, and then followed at the end of the day with the actual audition itself. Same thing, drumline. It'll start off the day with the whole group working together, working on skills, trying out a couple different drums possibly, but maybe snare and bass, or tenor and cymbals, or whatever the student is interested in, and then followed up later on with individual and group auditions on the drumline day. So again, that's April 30th for the color guard, and May 7th for the drumline. Other important dates to know: if you are living in Colorado and are close by, on April 23rd, that's coming up a little sooner, we are having our annual spring football scrimmage. That game, we are inviting all high school seniors that are able to make it to come and join the band to play with us for that game. It'll be a regular football game in the respect that there'll be two teams on the field, our first string versus our second string. It's Colorado State versus Colorado State. But we will be providing a pep band for that, playing just like we would for a regular home game, and to give everyone, I think, an opportunity to sort of get a taste for what it feels like to be at a home game. It'll be a little different, obviously, because we won't have an opposing team there, and it's really just a way for everyone to kind of get to know the new coach, get to know our team a little bit, and kind of see what next fall might look like. Again, information for that can be found on our website as well. The call time that morning would be 9 a.m. for anyone coming in. That'll be our registration, and assign out instruments if anyone needs one, and flip folders so that we have music to play, and then we'll do a short rehearsal, feed everyone pizza, and then do the game. The game starts at 1 o'clock and lasts, I've been told, approximately 2 hours, much shorter than a normal football game, but because it's not on TV and there's going to be very few timeouts. So those are upcoming events for us that are, again, available to all those that are interested in auditioning for color guard, drumline, or just being in the band in general. Wind player auditions, that would be any of the woodwinds or brass. We do not have a pre-audition for the marching band. What we will do is have a playing exam the first day of band camp, and that is really just for chair placement, and will also go into helping us decide pregame position in the drill placement, as well as some halftime shows. We do not have a cut audition for our wind players right now, so anyone that played their instrument in high school will have no problem making it into the band this fall. The first day of band camp, our preseason camp for all members, will be Saturday, August 13th. We will start that day with registration in the morning in our music building. We will fit and sign out uniforms, and also sign out all school instruments. We will then break for lunch, have our first informational meeting early in the afternoon, and begin our rehearsals that day. Any students that will be living on campus for this coming fall will be able to move into their dorm that same morning. So we recommend all freshmen, of course, and any other returning members to come register first thing in the morning and then move into their dorm so that you're ready to attend the opening meeting after lunch at 1:30. Or maybe 12:30. I think it's 12:30. Plenty of time to do that. And the benefit is we're all moving in before the rest of campus moves in, which gives us an opportunity to park wherever we want and not fight for elevator space. So it's a great benefit of being in the marching band, is that ability to move in early, claim which bed you want, top bunk, bottom bunk, whatever it is you like. Again, it starts August 13th. That is 1 week before school begins. School begins the 2 Mondays later. So we will have a preseason camp starting on that Saturday all the way through the next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day except Sunday. We'll start after lunch on Sunday the 14th, which gives you another opportunity to move in some more things if you need to. Our first performance actually happens the first Friday of preseason camp. So that is 1 week after we start camp. We play for the university's convocation. And our second performance is on Saturday, the 20th, which is our huge CSU Athletics pep rally in Canvas Stadium. So we actually begin before school even starts. We have 2 major performances of the band. And then we start school and we are in our normal rehearsal program. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any questions and see if there's anybody has any questions about the things I've already spoken about, or if there's anything specific that anyone would like to know. And again, if you want to hit your raise your hand from in your box, and we can find you. Yes, Thomas, you wouldn't mind unmuting and ask your question?
So if we need to rent, check out like a sousaphone, something like that, do we need to bring our own mouthpiece, or is the whole instrument provided?
The entire instrument, mouthpiece, neck, bits, all of that is included in your rental. If you are a School of Music student, the rental is included in your student fees. If you are not a School of Music student, so you're majoring in something other than music, then there is is it a 25 or 50? I think it's a $50 rental fee. The $50 gets you rental for the entire year, including if you do basketball band. So that $50 lasts the entire year, and again includes that bit, mouthpiece, and neck as well. And that goes for all instruments that we rent out, which include all brass, trombones, mellophones, baritones, trumpets. We actually do require all brass instruments to use our instruments because they're all the same variety. We use brass lacquer instruments because we are green and gold, so we use golden instruments. Piccolos, we do have piccolos available for all flute players. We only march piccolo, but those are available for anyone that would like to use one of ours. We do not rent clarinets or saxophones. We do require you to supply your own clarinet saxophone if you're going to be in the marching band. Thomas, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. Ben, who was next?
Cody was next.
Cody, great.
Can we choose to just do basketball, or do we have to do both? Or do we have to do normal day?
Well, so we do allow people to do basketball band that have not done marching band. There is one caveat. The university regulations, the way we do scholarships, I'm only allowed to pay scholarships to people that participated in marching band also. It's technically connected to marching band with those scholarships. That being said, I did have 3 or 4 students this year that only did basketball band. I believe all of them are planning on doing marching band this fall after having done basketball band. You do get, if you do basketball band, and that's all you do, you are still eligible for all postseason travel, including the Mountain West Tournament championships, which happened in Las Vegas. And if either the men's or the women's teams make the NCAA tournament, like we did this year, we took a band to Indianapolis. Both of those trips are all expenses paid, no extra out-of-pocket money. In fact, we paid every member of the band $50 a day for meal money. So again, we pay you to be there, but that is a possibility. We just can't do the scholarships for anyone that did not participate in marching band. All right, Catherine.
For wind auditions, do we need to have them memorized?
You do not. The audition will consist just of our CSU fight song, which is available on our website. You can download it ahead of time and be playing on it. You can find lots of recordings of it online as well, but it does not have to be memorized. Great question.
Thank you.
If you do have another question, don't hesitate to raise your hand. I'm going to give you a few more bits of information so that and it may spark some more questions for you. Also, if you come up with something and don't want to get on the main website or the main chat here, you can also use the text chat, and we'll find your questions there as well and answer them as we're able. Mallory, you had a question.
So do we have to buy like any, I guess, like marching equipment ahead of time before coming to camp, like uniform type stuff?
Great question. That was actually going to be my next topic, so I'm glad you asked that question. The only thing we require individual members to pay for out of their own pocket are their marching shoes. We march white shoes. We have a specific brand and make that we use for that. we will have a local music store on site at registration on the first day of preseason camp to fit everyone and to place orders. We get a special deal through them. We get them as absolutely as cheaply as is possible. And then they will take care of ordering and delivering those to us at the music building. So you don't have to go out and buy that ahead of time. The only other thing we do is gloves, the white cotton gloves, unless you're a drummer. And so those we expect you to buy because, well, they're very cheap. I think $2 or $3 a pair, and they wear out fast. And it's kind of a personal item on your hands, so it's not something that we give away. But other than that, we do give you obviously your uniform, which includes your jacket and the bibbers, shako, plumes. We give all members 2 band T-shirts every year, as well as a ball cap. We actually use the ball cap at the games as part of our uniform. When we are in the stands, we take the shakos off, put on the ball cap. We wear one of the T-shirts under our uniform as part of our uniform. The other T-shirt is just for you to have and wear around campus. Other things we would expect you to buy: we supply lyres for school instruments. If you are a clarinet, saxophone, you would need to supply your own lyre for those instruments. We do use our flip folders a lot. And I know that in high school, you can get away sometimes without using your flip folder. You get all the music memorized. We will have a flip folder that has around 40 tunes in it. And getting all that memorized might be a tall order. So most of our students do use their flip folder in the stands. For halftime, because we do a different show every home game, often there's not enough time to get that show memorized. There's at least one show this year where we will do a home game and 1 week later have another home game. We will learn that show that week. So there's a lot of students that work extra hard and do get those things memorized, and they do not have to use their flip folders if they have it memorized, but the rest will use their flip folders on the field with a lyre. Sousaphones are the only ones I think that don't use lyre. I think they hold their flip folders. Piccolos they take the extra time and memorize their music because no one likes to wear their flip folder on their wrist. So the piccolos do take it upon themselves to do that. And again, certain other sections will spend a lot of time working on that just to make sure they don't have to use it during halftime. We do memorize our pregame music. We march the same pregame every home game, so that's easy enough. And it's our school songs. We play those a lot anyway. So if you're a saxophone, clarinet, you would need to provide your own lyre. If you're a piccolo player, the lyre, it's actually built into the flip folder, so it goes on your wrist, as I mentioned. So just clarinets and saxophones there. Ben, can you think of any other things that we would have to purchase ahead of time, individual members would have to purchase?
Can't think of any. I think that's everything.
Yeah. I think that does cover it all. So again, we want it to be as little out of pocket for you as we can possibly manage. And again, we're paying you $615 just to be there. So hopefully that makes it very manageable for all of us. We do not fundraise. I'm not going to ask you to go out and sell chocolate or sell oranges. That we are funded by the university, and so that again, it's less of a burden on you. Cody, you have a question.
I just wanted to make sure you did say that drummers don't need to get white gloves, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we don't want to drop those sticks. So no gloves for drummers. Great question. Thomas.
So how many, this is like 2 questions. How many performances do we do like throughout the whole year, like just the regular marching band?
Great question. So we have 6 home games a year. We of course play for those, usually on a Saturday. Every now and then early season, they will back a game up to start to have it on Friday. But again, it's just those 6 home games. We have the 2 performances I mentioned during preseason camp. We also usually play for 1 high school competition as the exhibition band. That will be on a week or weekend where we do not have a home game. And then we also usually do a homecoming parade. That is the Friday before homecoming. And then the big Denver Parade of Lights, the first weekend of December. That's a huge thing. If you're from Colorado, you know what that is. We are the only college band that participates in that parade, and that has been that way for many, many years now, and it's something we're very proud of. We actually attach lights to our uniform and then our plumes, and march that parade downtown in the evening with all the lights on it. It's really, really outstanding. That's the majority of what we do. We do have this year a game on the Saturday following Thanksgiving. So we will have our full band at that game. So we do want to make sure that everyone's planning ahead to be in town in Fort Collins Friday, immediately following Thanksgiving, for a rehearsal. We will also provide dinner that night. It is a large banquet that we do that Friday night before that final game of the year. And then we do the game on Saturday. So that is something we all do need to be aware of. But I think that covers all of the performances. Every now and then, like in certain years, we will go play at Broncos Stadium. We'll play for a halftime at a Broncos game. That's not every year, but sometimes that happens. And again, that would be on a weekend that we do not have a home game. Every now and then, we might do, on a particular year, a special performance somewhere. We are looking at certain parades that happen all over the country. The Macy's Thanksgiving parade would be one that we are considering doing in the next few years. That's not been planned yet, but that's something like that could happen. One of the big things that I want to make sure this band does is travel, and we go places and see things and play for other people than just our home crowd. So this band in 2013 went to Ireland and marched the St. Patrick's Day parade in Ireland, and it's been almost 10 years. So that's something that we would also have on our radar in the next couple of years as well. Any other questions?
Dr. Taylor, there was a question in the chat about the freshman welcome days. I think those are the days that are happening while we're in band camp. Just what
That's right.
The expectation is with those.
Right. And so we do get that schedule from the orientation department. And there are certain ones of those freshman days that we absolutely say, okay, you guys need to go do these things. And there's certain other events that we work with orientation to make sure that it's okay if our freshmen miss. So we work out that schedule pretty well. We make sure that no new members miss anything crucial or anything very important. A lot of those include meetings and orientation meetings with your department for whatever your major may be. We make sure that everyone makes those. Those are very important. If there's any advising or anything like that needs to happen as well. There's other sort of get to know you meetings and things like that happen for new members. And that's a lot of times for new members that don't already have a group that they're associated with. And the great thing about being in the marching band, as I think we all know, we're a family. And when you first step through our doors, you're part of this great big family that is the Colorado State Marching Band. And you get to know people right away, and you'll start the first day of school knowing more people than any other freshman on campus, I guarantee it. Including, I will say, someone else that's already in your major. 85% of our members major in something other than music. We have over 50 different majors represented in our band. So again, the chances are someone else on the field is majoring in the exact same thing you're majoring in, from anything from zoology to architecture. Right? So we cover the whole gamut. So it's a great opportunity to get to know other people, maybe a senior in your degree program that could tell you, what professors to avoid. That's always a possibility as well. Other questions? I see a question in the chat for a clinic for the drumline. We do not have an early clinic for the drumline, but the drumline audition day is May 7th, and that will start the morning for that. Will begin with clinic and practice together as a group before the actual audition begins. So everyone gets a chance to play on the drums, work with our instructor, Shiloh Stroman, who is our drumline instructor, and get to know what's going on before we ask you to do your actual audition. Are there more questions? Well, I will say one more thing. There is always the possibility that the band would make a bowl game. The football team would make a bowl game. The band would go as well. though our conference, the Mountain West, tends to have bowl games early in December, mid-December, prior to Christmas. There's also 1 or 2 bowl games that we are eligible for every year that happen very close to that holiday. So one thing that we have to be aware of is that that is a possibility. If the football team makes a bowl game, the band is going and all members are required to attend. Now, I will say it is an all expenses paid trip to wherever it happens to be. That would, with the one exception, unfortunately, of the Aloha Bowl, in which case we would just take a pet band to Hawaii. But every other trip would be a bus or a plane fully paid for by the university, including all meals, hotel rooms, bus and plane transportation as needed. But that, we don't know what that's going to look like until mid-season, depending on what the team's record is, and we never know what bowl we will actually be going to, usually until the very end of November, beginning of December. So we always tell our members to keep dates open, to not make hard, unchangeable travel plans for that holiday season until we know what's going on. The good news is we will fly all members that need it either to Fort Collins or to where the bowl game is from their hometown. So if you do not live in Colorado or you live far away in Colorado, we will get you to either Fort Collins to start the trip or to where we're going to be to meet us. Again, all expenses paid for those things. All right, more questions. Cody, go ahead.
What is the time commitment for just the main pep band?
So time commitment in general is a good question. I'll answer it very broadly. Our class, and we are a class that you register for and sign up for when you do your summer orientation and your first advising session. And to answer, I think, Saran, in the summer, you will meet with an advisor who will help you register for your fall classes. Make sure they know you plan on taking marching bands, and they put that in your schedule. It's MU for music 204. They'll have that on a catalog. You don't need to remember that. But make sure that gets on your schedule. And then by doing that, you will be getting all the emails from us concerning preseason camp. I'll also say, if you've not already done so, and you probably have by joining this session, fill out our information form on our website to give us your information, your contact info, so that we do include you in our summer mailings so that you know what to expect. We will send out a preseason newsletter as well as a preseason camp information packet so that you know all the things that you need to know. Our weekly schedule for our class is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 days a week for an hour and a half. That's 4:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening. Usually this does not conflict with any other classes that you would need to be taking, with the exception on some occasions of a evening science lab. That does happen from time to time. So again, when you are registering for class in the summer, it's important to let your advisor know we need to avoid conflicts with the marching band class. If we do not have a home game on a Saturday, often we will not rehearse that Friday. Not exclusively, and that's not all the time, but I will always let members know 2 weeks in advance if we're not going to rehearse on a particular Friday, so we can make Friday travel plans maybe to get home for the weekend. And that's it. We do not have any required outside sectionals outside of that time, with the exception of 1 extra hour for color guard 1 day a week. Everyone else, that is all we rehearse, 6 hours a week, 4 days for an hour and a half. And then our Saturday game days are 12-hour days. We meet 6 hours before kickoff on a home game day, rehearse, and then we after we rehearse, then we have our game, our parade, and our game, and our pep rallies, and that usually ends up being about a 12-hour day. That's our entire time commitment. We don't meet outside of class time unless it's a performance. Cody?
How long after auditions do we know if we got into the marching band?
Are you drumline?
Yes.
Okay, so we will let you know within a couple of days of that May 7th audition who has made the line. What we might not have figured out exactly is what drum everyone is on, but you will know you're on the line or not. And then at preseason camp, that is when the final placements on the line will happen. We will not cut anybody once we get to preseason camp, though sometimes someone ends up on an instrument maybe they didn't want to do initially, but because of the way the personnel worked out, that's the way it ended up being. But we don't cut anybody from the line after we've told them you're in. So again, you should know that within just a couple of days of that May 7th audition. Other questions?
Dr.
Well, for
Taylor, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There were just two little clarification questions in the chat. One was just about registering for the marching band class, that it was MU 204, and just when to do that, or the method to do that. And then also if anyone needed to reach out regarding checking into the dorms early, or is that something that the dorms are expecting and can accommodate for?
So we will, again, for registering for the class, again, that would be something that happens in the summer when you meet with your advisor to register for classes. And everybody's assigned dates, and that all happens through admissions and through campus orientation. We don't handle that side of things. But they will get you registered for your first round of classes in the fall. Once you've done that, you're in marching band. You're taken care of at that point, and all you need to do is show up the first day of camp, which is, again, it's August 13th for members, all members. And I should have said this earlier, drumline and color guard, we do have a mini camp that precedes that. The drumline and color guard begin on August 11th. That's Thursday. They have a Thursday, Friday camp, and then the rest of the band comes in on the 13th. For the drumline and color guard, the dorms are not open yet on the 11th, and we pay to house the drumline and color guard in a local hotel right next to campus, walking distance to our music building. We will take care of that. We will send out an email early in the summer asking who needs to take advantage of this. And if you do need to take advantage of that, then we'll get you signed up and registered for that hotel stay. I will say the one other thing that we actually have to require the students to pay for is the early dorm move-in. The early dorm move-in for us, because we move in so many days ahead of when the rest of the campus moves in, there is a small charge that the Residence Life charges to your student account. I believe I want to say that is $30 a day. Again, that's a lot cheaper than staying in a hotel, but that will get attached to everyone's student account that has to move in early to their dorm. It is perfectly okay to not move in early. You do still have to be at band camp. So if you live close enough that you can commute the first few days until regular move-in happens, that is a possibility. But I have to also remind everyone that we cannot miss any rehearsal to move into dorms. So if you elect to move in later, that will be one of those things you have to do on a meal break and maybe get signed in, and then your family helps you move your stuff in while you're in rehearsal. So that, again, there's a little cost balance there, but it's a small charge compared to maybe a long commute every day or having to stay in a hotel, which would be, I think, a lot more expensive. Registering for the mini camp, again, you don't need to. If you are signed up for class, again, you'll get the emails about when camp starts, and you just show up the first day, and we'll take care of you at that point. Other questions, Cody?
For drumline auditions, what all drums do we have to play on?
Whatever you want. You can, I think you can select a primary instrument, and then usually we ask everyone to have a secondary that they'd be interested in trying, but you may get asked to try out on several other things. And we kind of move people around and see what the best fit. My recommendation is have one that you know for sure you want to do, and maybe a secondary, and you can kind of practice both of those leading up to that audition day. And then just be prepared to be flexible. I mean, again, we want everyone we want to have the right fit for everybody. And people that come in their freshman year rarely end up on maybe the drum they finish on at the end of their time in college. So people kind of move around, or some people come in on bass drum 5 and want to stay there the rest of their time. So that happens as well. Thomas.
So for like storage, like you said, we got our uniforms and that first day. So is there a place where we can store them within the music building, or do we have to store them in our dorm?
So you broke up a little bit. I think you were talking about storing your instruments during the year. There are some lockers available in the music building. We are not in charge of those lockers. The School of Music rents those out. It's a nominal charge. I'm not really sure. I think it's around, I don't know, $5-10 a semester to rent a locker. They are assigned first to music majors and then to anyone else that wants them. But that would happen once school began, and everyone's it's possible for anyone to rent those that would like to. Most of our students do just carry their instruments back and forth. Sousaphones and drumline, we do have a storage facility directly next to our field, to our practice field. And then, so sousaphones and drumline keep theirs on site, but everyone else is expected to figure out what they would need to do with their instrument. You know, when I was in college marching band, I carried my trumpet from my dorm to the marching field every day. That's just what I did. Baritones, trombones, it's a little different. I know it's a little bit bigger instrument. So, but most people are able to manage either with one of the School of Music lockers or just keeping it themselves. We're getting very close to being out of time. Again, if we'll get Cody here in just one second. If there are any last minute questions, you want to maybe type them out. You can also email me directly anytime you would like. My information is on the website as well. Please do check out our website if you have not done so yet. There are videos of the past band performances, as well as lots and lots of information about both color guard auditions, drumline auditions, and what wind players need to do and be prepared for once we get to preseason camp. All of that information is available on our website. And if you do come across something that you just can't find the answer for at all times, I'm always happy to answer any emails you may have about that. Cody, why don't you finish this out?
What is the most physical that marching band gets?
The most physical is our pregame show. We do about an 8-minute show for pregame that is constant marching and playing, with the one time, the exception being when we stop to play the national anthem in our alma mater. But the band is constantly moving and playing for about 8 straight minutes. That is definitely our most physical time. Obviously, a parade, anytime we do a parade, that's going to be a little more physical. Nonstop movement and playing, playing back and forth between everybody playing and the drumline playing. That's really it. If you're from the Colorado area, you know that it will get warm at band camp, but it's not oppressively so. I'm from the South, and I'm used to lots and lots of humidity, and it's thankfully less humid here than it is there. But it gets hot, and that can take a drain on a lot of people. So preseason camp, we try to make sure we have lots of breaks, water breaks. We're reminding people to use sunscreen, make sure they're wearing protective clothing and things like that. But I'd say pregame and parade is probably the most physical. Game days are long and they're tiring, but it's a lot of standing. It's a lot of standing in the stands. Drumline, we have the stadium hardware, so you don't have to carry and hold the drums up the entire game. So we try to give everybody a lot of opportunity to rest as they need to when we're not actually marching and performing.
So I have a quick follow-up question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, what happens if we get hurt or something happens to where we can't make it through a full game? Are we still able to play half game and then leave, or do we just?
Well, we take that on a case-by-case basis, obviously. We do have medical personnel in the stadium that can take care of people if they have an emergency. We also, we'll work with people. We've had people, I had a section leader actually this year started band camp with a broken foot. So he didn't get to march for the first half of the season, but he was in the band and he participated as much as he could. We've had people get ill or injured mid-season, and we just work with those people to make sure they're able to participate as much as they're able to. Because again, we're a family and we try to take care of each other. We want to make sure that everybody is there as much as they can be. Great. Some wonderful questions. Again, I hope we've gotten all the information across to you. We're about out of time. Thank you again for joining us today. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to email us or follow up. Thank you very much, and go Rams.